Hello everybody, I'm Chief Jim Coleman of the Hillsboro Police Department, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about what I think is one of our most interesting and in times of crisis, one of our most important units at the Hillsboro Police Department, and that's our Crisis Negotiation Unit. Today I'm joined by Sergeant Mike Demolgowski of the Hillsboro Police Department. He is the Assistant Team Leader of the county-wide unit that we call CNU, which stands for Crisis Negotiation Unit. And thank you, Mike, for coming today.
Yeah, thanks, Chief.
You're welcome. And let's talk a little about what your unit does and maybe how long you've been associated with it as you're doing that.
Yeah, I've been with the Crisis Negotiation Unit for about 9 years. Most of that time as the Assistant Team Leader for the county team. And we're comprised of about 23 negotiators. We also have a psychologist assigned to the team as a resource to help us out with call-outs. And we consist of team members from just about every single agency within Washington County, Beaverton, Washington County Sheriff's Office, Hillsboro, Tigard, Tualatin. So, and we respond to just about every single call out involving our tactical negotiation team. So anytime TNT or some notice SWAT are called out, we respond with them to try to bring these incidents to a peaceful resolution.
Good. How quick can you get your team out to the scene of a crisis?
Once we get a page notification, it's pretty quick. We have members that respond directly to the call. 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes even quicker, depending if they're on duty. If they're on duty, they just go straight from whatever agency they're with from that city, and sometimes it's within the same city. So that's the one nice thing is when we have somebody on duty, they're generally right there and able to start working on some aspect of negotiating, whether it's like intel gathering or assisting command with what steps need to start taking place for negotiations to proceed.
Great. What's your operational area? And I understand that you guys will sometimes back up other teams regionally. How does that work out?
We can compromise. Our team is in Washington County, so all throughout Washington County. But when like Clackamas County Sheriff's Office, their team may go out to training and be outside their region, they'll ask us to cover them for any call outs with their SWAT team, or sometimes it's our negotiators and our SWAT team to cover their county. And so that just goes to like a mutual aid agreement, and their dispatch will notify ours. And so, just a little bit longer response time, but we'll respond over to Clackamas County. And then that's pretty much the only other agency we back up, but we have gone down to Yamhill County to assist down there. We're available to help out with whatever agencies need us.
Great. Can you talk a little bit about some of the tools that your team uses? I know when I watch movies, a lot of the time it's done over the telephone, but I know nowadays probably it's gotten a lot more technologically advanced than that. What kind of things do you guys find helpful in getting that communication established and then working with the person who's in crisis?
I know. I think of like the movies like The Negotiator or something, it's always, somebody on the phone talking, and it's gone so much further than that nowadays. A huge aspect of what we do is intelligence gathering. So we're using social media, all kinds of different databases available to law enforcement to just gather background information on the person that we, is either in crisis or barricaded. And so that intel either helps the negotiator when they're on the phone or helps our command make decisions on how they're going to start dealing with the problem, whatever it may be, the person in crisis, on how we're going to try to get them out. If it goes to a tactical option, how that may proceed. So huge part of what we do is intel gathering, and then that transcribes to helping the negotiator and command. So tools that we use, that is even gone kind of crazy. We've done negotiations using Facebook Messenger, FaceTime, using our iPhone. text message negotiations. So yeah, any technology that we can use to further a negotiation. We've gone through, people have had, like a security camera inside their home that they can connect through an app. We've been able to talk to people through those and negotiate with them to a peaceful resolution. So yeah, really, a plethora of options in negotiating with people and talking to them and making contact and hoping to bring, peaceful resolution to everything.
Yeah, just so people know, my understanding is there really isn't a time limit on how long you're willing to negotiate with somebody if you feel like you're progressing towards a peaceful resolution, right?
Yeah, no timeline. It's huge. Like my job as a team leader is to, I'm like the direct line of communication, me or the team leader, if they're on scene, is to connect with command, connect with tactical, and keep them apprised of like how the negotiation is going. The longer we can keep them on the phone, statistics just show the higher likelihood it is to a peaceful negotiation or a peaceful resolution. And so there's many facets to us being on the phone with somebody. We can, work towards bringing them out. Basically, when we get them on the phone, they're very elevated and like most of the time, what's going on, or escalated. And so we work to, establish that connection, build that rapport, and then really just start, calming them down. And as we do that, we can change their behavior, or we work to change their behavior and hopefully comply with what we're trying to get them to do. So yeah, the longer we can be on the phone with them, the higher the likelihood that all that can happen. We can come to a peaceful resolution, however that may look. And that's another part of our job, is really to work with command on like what we're seeing as far as intel gathering, the negotiation, and like brainstorming on like what a peaceful resolution may look like, because each one could be completely different from the one before, even if the circumstances are very like the one that we had just responded to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to be super adaptable to the environment, what kind of crisis the person's going through. If you have other individuals that you haven't secured close to them, and that, so every situation is really dynamic and unique to any other one. What's the longest you've ever been out negotiating with somebody? You personally.
Me personally?
Yeah. And maybe the unit too.
Yeah, me personally, I think the longest I've been out on a call out is probably like 10 hours on a call out. But the longest our team, in my recent memory, is 48 hours. It was that one over here on, I think it was about 48 hours if I recall. It was quite a long time. And during that one, once again, it was an interagency team bringing in other teams, that we had those agreements with, because our negotiators can't stay on the phone that long. And that was a person in crisis. And so, we brought other teams in, passed information on where we were at. That team would take over, they would negotiate. And we were basically just kind of taking shifts on, okay, now this team's coming in, OSP, Oregon State Police. They would negotiate for, a shift. We'd bring people in and we'd just kind of work it over 24 hours of trying to, connect with the person. And once again, get them to comply with what we're trying to work through. So.
Yeah, I think 2 days, that's a long time.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks to, while you're out there, all the resources that are out there, both the tactical team and you guys, and just all the support. I know on the case that you're kind of referring to, it was a regional response because we just had to relieve other units and other teams, both tactical and negotiations wise. So it just speaks to the levels your team and the TNT team will go to bring a peaceful resolution to things. There really isn't this limited amount of time where we're willing to negotiate and then we take, aggressive action. So I think that speaks a lot to the level of commitment you guys have to the community and an outcome that preserves human life. What kind of training, because luckily, you're not going to one of these events every day, and it may be a little bit of time in between the events. How do you guys stay sharp, and what kind of training is involved with your unit?
From the time of becoming a brand new negotiator, we send people to the FBI Basic Negotiating course. It's a 40-hour course that they go to, and then that's just like the start of the building blocks. Once they come back to Washington County, and from there, we'll put them through. We do monthly trainings every month. The entire team will get together, and if they're unable to make it, you have to make up those hours yourself, doing some aspect of training that's related to negotiating. So yeah, and those are every month, all year long, and during that we're working on doing scenario based training where we're putting the entire team through scenarios where they're actually on the phone negotiating with a role player. They're doing intel gathering. I mean, it's all simulated, but we're putting all this together to put the team through so they can practice and keep their skills sharp. We're also bringing out trainers from other agencies, other organizations to put on trainings in active listening skills to build those skills as well, because that's huge in our position. I mean, every month we're working on it and trying to continue that education to make sure we just sharpen our skills and we're ready to go when the page comes out.
I know I see it because our team has gotten a lot of recognition. One of the things that you guys do to stay sharp as well is you're in competition with other negotiating teams, right? What does that look like? And could you talk about some of the success our team has had in that?
Yeah. So we send our team to historically it's only been a regional competition and training. It's the Western States Hostage Negotiators Association, WISHNA. They put on this 4-day training, and one of those days is a competition, and it has now evolved from like all teams being able to participate to gone from anywhere from 8 to 10 teams that will compete throughout the Northwest. And so during that competition, it's anywhere from 6 to 8 hour scenario where once again we have the teams going through and they have a role player on the phone. They have to go through intelligence gathering, and the intel that they're gathering will support the negotiation. And it's very well done in what they do. If you're not getting the intel, it's really hard to proceed through that negotiation because the two support each other. And so our team has won first place in that competition several years in a row. Just in 2025, we won first place, and this was the first year they offered a scholarship to go to the national competition, which was put on by the National Tactical Operators Association and TOA down in Arizona. And our team went down there and competed with teams from across the country, and we were able to score first place once again. So just shows like all that training that we do throughout the year really hones our skills and keeps us on top, and something that we're really proud of.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and it's one of the reasons this county is so committed to sending out the crisis negotiation team with the tactical team, that it gets results, and the level of skill and professionalism is absolutely outstanding. Maybe one of the last things I would ask you is, what kind of officers do well in this position?
Yeah, somebody who really just has that heart that really wants to like connect with somebody, because you're going from like your primary job as an investigator, whether it's in patrol, detectives, because we have people from different positions within the police departments, but you have to put a whole different hat on when you're negotiating and go away from the investigator role to somebody who needs to be able to build rapport, who can actively engage somebody who is at their most likely worst moment that they've been in. They're in crisis, and have that person be able to sit there and sometimes yell at you, scream at you, and you are able to keep a very calm demeanor and talk with them, connect with them, and really just bring them down and like make them feel heard. And when you can do that, that's when you're able to get change and let them know that you're working towards the same goal they are. At the end of the day is to keep them safe. So, yeah, I think we have a great team that works very well with our tactical team, and we've worked over the years probably to have one of the best relationships we've ever had. And really, I think our goals at the end of the day are the same. Come to a peaceful resolution without having to have tactical intervention. But as we all know in this job, that's not always the case. You have to have the tactical intervention on some of these. So.
Yeah, that trust between, I would call them two teams, but it really is one team when it's out there on a situation together. But that trust is calls upon everybody's patience and buy-in to the process. And I know you're supporting each other and what the great thing is you have the same hope for outcome. So that helps the teams meld together. So Mike, I really appreciate you running through what CNU does. Thanks for your service and as the assistant team leader and for your service to Hillsboro Police Department. How long have you been with Hillsboro Police Department?
With Hillsboro, 10 years.
Yeah, so you,
Going
in
on
addition to helping run the squad, you also run a patrol shift for us day in and day out. So thanks for everything you do, and it's great to get a chance to talk to you about CNU.
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it.